the city of Hallandale, before I was here, by the way, bought 3 condominium units. It's called Seville Condominiums. The address is 110 Southeast 2nd Street, and we paid either $142,000 or $143,000. And in my wrap-up, where I send out my information after commission meetings, I basically said, the city of Hallandale Beach bought 3 condominium units for friends, hyphen, Mr. Julian signed incomplete sets of documents, hyphen, the cost of the units was $142,000 or $143,000. So I've got some stuff here. These are the warranty deeds, by the way. I've only got 5 copies here, and I'll explain, because normally I bring 30 copies. Why I only brought 5? But the top one is for Unit 205. The next one is for Unit...
When the city buys stuff like this, who signs the...
This one's one of...
Who signs the documents?
The mayor, or no, well, this one when we disposed of, there's 3 different units on here. One is 205, one is 109, and the other one's 20. I don't see it on this one. Usually, depending, sometimes administration signs it, sometimes, depending on the document, sometimes the mayor signs it, and sometimes just the mayor's signature signs it.
What did they buy it for?
That's a great question.
Well, are they going to demolish it, or it's
No. We bought. It's a block off of Dixie Highway. It's like a 20-story condominium. It's 20 unit.
Oh, I know which property you're talking about now. But what did they intend to do with it? Because at one time they
Jackie,
were talking about
Jackie, nobody has that answer. I would love for Mr. Julian to ask, because he signed the documents. But real quick, so this is one set of what I have, by the way. So this one says Unit 103. One of the things that's interesting, so this was in 2004, date of purchase, Unit 103. There's a lot of different dates. Thank you. There's a lot of different dates on here. This is December 16th. This is the 2004. But as I turn pages, and I'll send this around so you guys can look at it. There's an interesting couple things here. Remember, December 2004.
You know, I think I was involved with this. I was on the...
Hold on, let me finish. Hold on. This is Mike Good's signature, by the way, back here, this scribble back here. No date. Here's apartment 109, so you got 103, you got apartment 109. Again, Mike Good's signature, David Jove, no longer with the city, either one of them.
They're not.
Here's Unit 105 in this document. And here's where the Vice Mayor signed. Bill Julian signed the documents. They signed 3 different times. That's in April of 06. So the document starts in December of 04 and December of 05. And Mr. Julian signs on April of 06. No, but this is my favorite part in the whole set of documents. My favorite part. And this one's dated January 10th, 2005. Number 3. Seller hereby acknowledges that the purchase by the buyer from the seller at this time was the city of Hallandale, we were selling it and they were buying it, of the unit is continued on the seller making a donation. I'm sorry, it's the other way around. The seller is, we're the buyer. Seller hereby acknowledges the purchase of the buyer by the buyer from the seller of the unit is contingent on the seller making a donation of $3,000 to the Hallandale Beach Affordable Housing Program on the date of the closing. Jackie. Seller hereby acknowledges that the purchase by the buyer from the seller of the unit is contingent on the seller making a donation of $3,000 to the Hallandale Beach Affordable Housing Program on the date of the closing. So if anybody sees Mr. Julian, just ask him if he ever got his $3,000 that was committed to the Hallandale Beach Affordable Housing Program.
How can you tell who did what? Nobody didn't know, like...
That's the beauty of these documents. None of them are complete sets. So at the commission meeting, I basically
stood... How can you run a city like this? This is ridiculous.
How can you run a city like that? It's ridiculous. Thanks. I like that. It won't be like that on November 7th. So, God, I'm lost in my details here. Oh, so Mr. Julian came and asked for the documents. And I said, I'd be more than happy to provide them to you. But Mr. Levy, yesterday, put a public records request in. Because Mr. Julian didn't, but in his public records request, the city gave him a stack of documents, which I have some of them, but he said, and there's an email exchange between the city manager and the deputy city manager. And the deputy city manager wrote to the city manager before they turned the public records request over to me from Mr. Levy, which basically said, we've given you everything we have, but he said that wasn't enough. And in the public records request, he said, I want the documents that Commissioner London has, where he said that Commissioner Levy, Vice Mayor Julian, thank you, Vice Mayor Julian purchased the documents. So I wrote an email back to the city manager saying, one, I want to know what you provided to Commissioner Levy. Two, he needs to restate the public records request, because I never said Vice Mayor Julian authorized the purchase of these properties. And you're not going to put words in my mouth, and I'm not going to turn over any documents until the public records request is specific to say, whatever I have in my possession, but I didn't say that he authorized the purchase. So that's why I didn't make you 30 copies, because normally I make out enough copies for everybody, but I'll share with you guys what I have, but I want Mr. Julian to come back to a commission meeting to keep this alive. This is good stuff.
You told him to email you, and he won't email you.
Right, he didn't send me an email.
He came back the next week. I was at all the meetings, and he came back the next week, and he started another argument with you.
But
he never emailed you.
But he's holding my wrap-up up. He's holding my wrap-up up that he gets from somebody else that forwards him. I can't imagine who, Steve Cummings. And he's holding it up. So he knows my email addresses. I said, Mr. Julian, I'd be more than happy to give you everything I have. Just you got to put in a document.
Well, it's actually even worse than that, because Julian actually asked Chava at that meeting if Chava had a copy. And Chava wasn't entirely sure, but Chava had actually been at that meeting where you had discussed that. And he actually sent me an email asking me if I knew which documents he was referring to or what you had said. I said, I remember Keith talking about that, but just like what you were saying, his remembrance of what you said was not at all what you said.
No, well, you're not going to put words in my mouth. That's for darn sure.
Especially given that, the meetings are recorded.
Yeah.
Is anyone living in these condos?
Yeah, it's a really nice building. But now the value is like, if you go to the property appraiser's office, they're like $40,000 or $50,000. So they peaked. We got engaged in it at like 142, 143, whatever it says on there. They went up a little bit higher. We had them near the top of the market. Then they went into foreclosure, because I did a record search on Broward County Records. They went into foreclosure, and now they're worth $40,000 or $60,000.
But if somebody
No, we turned them over. No, but other people, listen, they're not worth $140,000. So if somebody took a mortgage at $140,000, and the real value of it was 40, people are going to walk away from
But
that.
it was worth that. I was on what was it called? Community Redevelopment Committee. Do you remember when we...
Before my time. I wasn't here until 2006.
Oh, okay. Well, we purchased this property. We okayed it. What happened?
Who's we?
We had a board. There were about 15 people on the board. Mary Washington was on it. Mrs. Coley was on it.
Do you have any documents?
Well...
No,
That's another story.
No, I'm just saying, if you have anything, please
We
bring
were
them
like
so
an
we can...
advisory board.
Okay.
And we were supposed to, And what happened was that we were built out. There were no more lots available, nothing suitable available for the low cost. We were building new housing, new low-cost housing on lots where we could find the lots, but we ran out of lots. So the commission suggested, because we were getting money from CRA grants for this, and we were paying $25,000 for the lot.
This is not the
You know
lot.
what I'm saying?
Jackie, this is like a 20-unit building. It's a
That's
2
when
or
they-
3-story building.
Exactly. We had run out of these buildings, so the commission suggested we looked at condos. This is one of them.
Jackie, we have... if you have any
It
documents,
might be a different property then.
please bring them. But, Jackie, the city of Allendale owns 80 lots in the Northwest. So I don't know how we're running out of opportunities.
We had run out. Ask Joy, she'll tell you.
I'd love to ask Joy. Ask Joy to come to a meeting where she's going to talk for more than 3 minutes and bang the gavel. I'd love to ask her.
But
Jackie,
she
think
wanted condos, so we were
she
shifting
wanted
to
condos.
condos.
Okay. If you have any documents,
That's one of them.
if you have any documents from those days, please, if you can pull.
Talk to Mary. If anybody has documents, she does.
Okay, if you got.
She got it.
Okay, bring them, Tim.
Where are these units located at?
It's Southeast 2nd and 110. So here's Here's Dixie Highway. I want to say it's this. Oh, it's this building right here. It's this building right here.
Oh, it's on the south side.
Yeah, it's just east of the railroad tracks.
Okay.
And here's Barnett's. It's like 3 blocks south.
Okay. I know.
So this is third. If you're leaving City Hall, here's City Hall. Here's City Hall. You're leaving City Hall. You come up here. You go around. Here's the VWF, the Veterans Forum. It's the next building.
I know you're talking about.
It's a yellow building. It's a nice building. It's a nice building. But where's the documents? Where's the documents, and how come nobody's been able to provide it? Thanks, Marilyn.
Keith, we gotta go.
Sure. Thanks, Mike. Thank you.
But is anybody living there and somebody collecting rent?
The ownership of these units has changed like 3, 4, 5 times.
Isn't still up?
No. We bought them at the top of the market. We sold them, and some of the dates. If you look at the dates, I mean, we literally bought it and sold it. But why? We bought them all from one person. We bought it from an investment fund, Majestic or something, whatever it says on there, Kathy. We bought all 3 units from one. It just doesn't pass the smell test. But if somebody's got some better documents, no one's been able to tell me what's going on.
Do they flip it and just?
That's what he was saying, they were trying to.
I wish I could tell
So
you.
the city doesn't own those anymore?
No. We sold them, we bought them, we sold them. But the dates are all over the place. But the vice mayor signed the documents. Let me tell you something. I mean, there's a lot of, if you look at any city check, it's got the mayor's signature on it. It goes back to your question.
Right.
A lot of things, like you're going to have to sign it. I don't know about you guys, but when I sign something, I tend to want to make sure that what I'm signing's got some type of, because you're signing your life away. I mean, not your life, but you can't just say, I could personally just say the city manager put it on my desk and told me to sign it. Not going to happen. Tim, anything specific, Tim? Coming back to you.
No, it wasn't anything specific right now. Like, this is my first meeting.
Okay.
I was really concerned about O.B. Johnson Park, the future there. Also, Calpern Center there. And well, they're just about finished with the Foster Park building. But just redevelopment in the northwest section and how the citizens of the northwest section will benefit and not have a situation like this where someone else comes in, flip properties, and they make money, and the citizens who are still there are still in the same situation.
And let me address it for you a couple ways. First of all, we're going to all know what the rules are, and we're all going to play by the rules. And the rules are going to be transparent. So that would be beneficial. You came in a little late on this, but we were talking about development and redevelopment earlier in the conversation. And if I talk to people on the northwest or on the west side of the city, southwest, northwest, job services, job services, job services. The Dixie Foster is a great example of a development gone awry. That was where we purchased part of that property from Commissioner, now Vice Mayor Sanders, and at the time Mike Good and the rest of them approved a project that would have done rentals right there at Dixie and Foster, where that whole Square City block is. I voted against that because you don't need any more residential over there, and who wants to live on Dixie Highway next to the FEC railroad tracks where literally 48 trains go on those tracks every day? There was a commercial project that came forward that would have been a much better project, but the rest of them poo-pooed it and thought it was a bad idea. I'm not even going to get into the fact of buying the Sanders property because you can read about that in the newspaper. You don't have to listen to me. But what needs to happen, we've had a decade of wasted opportunity. A decade of wasted opportunity. Our budget's $100 million a year. The mayor's been in office since '99. I've been here since 05, 06. Well, 06. $500 million in the last 5 years in budgets. What do we have to show for it? So, you've got a lot of great insider deals, but what does the Northwest have to show for it? You got $1 million park at Foster Park, but that's $1 million. That's not $500 million. So there's been a huge amount of waste and unaccountable money. So you're missing a lot of opportunities.